but he is one of those players that you feel like he's going to be an iconic player.
MJ, Braun, and Wemby. Those are the three names that are going to come up in the GOAT.
Here's the thing about Victor Wembanyama that's starting to sound less like analysis and more like a confession. The legends, the actual Hall of Famers who have seen absolutely everything this sport can throw at a person, are running out of words. Not the polite, camera-ready kind, the real ones. They're sitting there, shaking their heads and admitting out loud that there's no comparison. No past player fits. That single sentence is the whole scouting report. He's 7'4" with an 8-foot wingspan, but that's just the starting point. One possession, he's pulling up from 30 feet like a shooting guard. The next, he's backing a grown man down in the post like he's been doing it since the 90s. Then, without even looking like he's trying, he reaches back from behind a defender and swats a shot that everyone thought was clean. Defenders swear they have a step on him. They don't. The ball just disappears. It looks illegal. And the part that should keep every coach awake at night, he's 21, still growing, still figuring things out. The best players alive are already saying there's no solution. That's not hype anymore. That's a warning label. Go under the screen and he knocks down the three like it's a free throw. Fight over the top and he takes one long stride and blows right past you. Send a double team and he's already read it and fired the pass before the trap even gets there. Then he runs to the other end and erases shots at the rim like they never happened. There is no clean scheme, no clever adjustment. That's why every legend keeps landing on the same word, unbeatable.
One of those players that you feel like he's going to be an iconic player. If you watch him, he's highly skilled. He probably needs to be, more schooled in playing in the NBA. He can run. He can shoot three-point shots. I think his best skill is going to be blocking shots early in his career. But for people who haven't seen him play, he's pretty spectacular. He was so polished and so poised. And that's what the NBA needs, another voice to replace the ones who have been here for years. So to me, it's just like, from one generation to the next, and he's going to create a new player. Also,
Jerry West has been studying talent since before most people reading this were born. Almost 70 years. His silhouette is the NBA logo. He watched Wilt Chamberlain simply overpower the sport. He saw Bill Russell win with nothing but defense and will. He had a front row seat for Kareem, Magic, Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron, each one redefining greatness in their own image. So when this particular man looks at a 21-year-old from France and calls him iconic, highly skilled, and pretty spectacular without a single hesitation, that is not small talk. That is 70 years of watching the best ever and then watching someone new. And West isn't just pointing at highlight reel plays. He's pointing at something bigger, long-term impact, legacy. The kind of player who doesn't just fit into the league but changes it. The kind who brings in a whole new generation of fans who have never seen anything like him. When a man who has truly seen it all, every era, every superstar, every false prophet, looks at you and says that without being asked, you better pay attention. That's not a compliment, that's a signal.
Game, right? He is, every time you turn into a Spurs game, you're going to see something new. So last night it was the 360 layup, right? He will do one thing when you leave that arena or watching that game going, I got to see more. He's got great form. And I think just looking at him, it looks like he's put on not a lot of weight, but he looks like he's a little bit more, more comfortable in his skin. He put on like maybe 10 pounds or something, but he's much more comfortable out there on the floor. And for them to be undefeated at this point, I know it's early. It's only a week into the season. Look, they're not winning the championship, but I like how they are playing as a...
Reggie Miller isn't even bringing up stat sheets. He's talking about a feeling. He's saying that every single Spurs game you're guaranteed to see something you have never seen before. Not maybe guaranteed, something that sticks in your head on the drive home. Something that makes you turn the game on the next night just because you don't want to miss whatever comes next. And here's what's wild, you can see the growth in real time. You don't need numbers. Victor looks stronger this year, more comfortable. He's absorbing contact instead of avoiding it. He's moving smoother across the court. And he added size without losing one drop of that weird elastic fluidity that makes him special. Then Reggie drops the line that really lands. He says Wembanyama should have been Defensive Player of the Year. The only thing that stopped it, he didn't play enough games. Think about that. One of the greatest shooters in NBA history is telling you that by year 2, this kid was already the best defender in the entire league. That's not a small take, that's enormous. That's Reggie Miller, who spent his whole career trying to get shots off against defenders who couldn't touch this, saying the trophy was already his if not for a calendar.
Because if this man stays healthy, right, he's going to be arguably the best defensive player we've ever seen. You can't tell me, because he has none. Offensively, he has the complete package. The Jamal Crawford handles, we saw that in the highlight. The pull-up threes, we're watching him knock that down on a consistent basis. He's excellent moving without the basketball for his cutting, being a live threat at the basket. On top of that, he's starting to go and capitalize in the low post area, mid post area. You could use him as a screener. It's nothing that he can't do. This man has arrived, and he has the mentality of a killer. He wants to.
Kendrick Perkins does not ease into conversations. He goes straight to the top. This is a guy who battled Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Dwight Howard, and Ben Wallace every single night. He knows what elite defense actually feels like because he lived it, possession by possession, bruise by bruise, against the biggest, strongest, most intimidating bigs in history. So when Perkins talks about Wembanyama's impact, he's not watching from a studio far away. He's speaking from real experience. And then he makes the boldest claim of the whole conversation. He says if Wemby stays healthy, he could be the greatest defensive player to ever play the game. No hesitation, no, one of the greatest, the greatest. Then he throws down the challenge like a gauntlet. Find a flaw in his game at 21, go ahead, he'll wait. And then he starts listing everything: handles, pull-up threes, cutting, rim protection, post-game, mid-post moves, screening, spacing. It's all already there. Not one or two skills carrying him. Every single area of the game is built to a high level already. Then Perkins closes it out with a line that should echo through every locker room. This man has arrived, and he's got a killer mentality. At 21, most guys are still a work in progress. Perkins is saying this one already looks finished. That puts the entire league on notice.
We've never seen Wemby. We've never seen no shit like Wemby. Wemby could lead every category there is, and statistically, that's MVP. Wemby might average 24. What did he average last year? What Wemby average last year?
I think he was floating around like 24 a game. I think almost 4 blocks a game, like 3.5 blocks.
If Wemby averaged 25, 15, he could average 5 blocks.
He could put up
average 12 assists.
He could put up
He can average 6 steals. Like, he can do all of this. These are video game numbers. How can this team will make?
Carmelo Anthony scored over 28,000 points in this league. He's watched every kind of scorer, every style, every possible way a player can take over a game offensively. So when he says, we've never seen anything like Wemby, that's not a hype line. That's recognition from someone who truly understands how rare real originality is in professional sports. He even says it twice. We've never seen Wemby, we've never seen nobody like him. The repetition isn't a stutter. Emphasis, he's not stretching for a comparison because none exist. Then Melo starts rattling off numbers that sound absurd at first. 25 points, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks, 12 assists, 6 steals. And he calls them video game numbers. But here's the crazy part, it doesn't feel impossible when you watch Victor play. No player in league history has ever been a real threat to dominate all 5 major stat categories in a single night. That's exactly where he stands apart. Not one skill, every skill at the same time. Then Kevin Garnett, who doesn't throw out big comparisons just to fill space, tries to explain Wembanyama and reaches for the biggest one he knows. He compares his arrival to LeBron James entering the league. That once-in-a-generation moment where the whole basketball world stops and realizes something is completely different now. The rare moment where the hype meets reality, and the reality is somehow even bigger. Garnett is talking about a player with no real blueprint, no past version to point at, no neat box to put him in. Something you watch and the only honest reaction is, we have never seen this before. He brings up LeBron for a reason. Before LeBron showed up, the league had no reference point for what he became. Once he arrived, everything had to adjust. That same shift is starting to form around Wembanyama right now. And Garnett isn't guessing from the outside. He actually competed against LeBron. He felt that level up close. So when he puts Victor in that same rare space, a player the game doesn't have a category for yet, that's not hype. That's his real, honest read. Nobody on this list feels this more personally than Tony Parker. 4 championships, finals MVP, the heartbeat of the Spurs dynasty for over a decade. He watched that team fall apart. He went through the rebuild. He understood exactly how rare it is to find a real franchise cornerstone. So when Victor showed up, Parker didn't get loud or emotional. He stayed calm and surgical. He said simply, in 2 years, he's going to be the best player in the NBA, not one of the best. The best, no extra noise around it, just confidence from someone who has lived at that level. And then he lines up the history: David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Victor Wembanyama, 3 different eras, 3 generational big men. Parker played alongside 2 of those legends and saw that standard up close every single day. And now he's placing Victor right into that same line without blinking. Parker isn't just saying Victor is good, he's saying he rises above all of it. Finally, Jamal Crawford brings a totally different angle. 20 seasons in the league. one of the smoothest ball handlers to ever play, someone who has watched every style and every trend come and go. And he shuts down the idea that this is something we've already seen before. He starts nomming Nikola Jokic and Domantas Sabonis, skilled bigs who can pass, shoot, and operate with real intelligence, players who already push the limits of what a big man can do. But his whole point is that even those names don't fully capture what Wemby brings, because this isn't just about skill overlap. It's about the complete package showing up in a way the league has never dealt with before. Skilled bigs have existed. That part isn't new. But then Crawford gets to the real difference. Wembanyama does all of that on offense, and then flips the switch and shuts things down at an elite level on defense too. That's where every other skilled big in history had a crack somewhere. A mobility issue, a defensive weakness, something you could target with the right game plan. With Wembanyama, that opening doesn't exist. He's wrecking both ends at the same time. Crawford puts it plain and simple, we have not seen this combo before.